hear me okay. I never quite know. I do these at weird times. People jump on at different times. So let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Finn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A. Just got all windy all of a sudden. So awesome to be here with you guys. I just want to give you a quick heads up. I've had a bunch of people asking me about the mastermind. We do have a few spots open in the there, and it depends. Usually, just so you know, to make best use of it, if you're stage one where you have some clients and you're beginning to start hiring people, and you're in that kind of between stage one and stage two, all the way up to stage three, where you're becoming a manager, that like we kind of want to run your agency way more hands off. That's kind of our bread and butter sweet spot. So if that's where you're at now, you should probably reach out because I can make that journey about 2 years shorter than you. But anyways, I'm not going to talk too much about that. Let's just get into the questions. Brendan asks, it's been a while since I've been in the SEO game. Just wondering where would be the best place to start learning again. I know that there is a great place to get advice, but if I want an SOP step-by-step guide for doing competitor research, on-page, technical SEO, blog outreach, also what are your favorite tools to use for SEO? Thanks in advance, Brendan. Brendan, so full transparency, I haven't done SEO for years. I don't think it's the most efficient way anymore. But I do believe my old man ass could go into SEO and dominate it if I wanted to, if that was my goal. And I'll tell you, the biggest mistake that I made when learning SEO was to try and study other people's blogs and trainings, because what happens is SEO people myths within the industry. Like I'll give you for example. One thing that I learned like when I was testing is people would say, well, you have to build backlinks really slowly over time. You can't do it too fast and too aggressively or you're going to piss off Google. And so for many years I just didn't. I did the slow and steady tortoise pace. And then I decided, hey, what would happen if I just built a bunch of links really, really fast? Turns out you can still rank. So that's like one of those myths. No, I'm not saying slow and steady doesn't have benefits, but the best thing you can do to learn SEO is to look and analyze what top sites are doing right now. So you want to learn on-site SEO? Look at how the top websites now that you're trying to model are done. If you want to build backlinks or do those kind of things, then I would suggest look at the links that the top websites have already. So this is the tools that I would use personally: Majestic SEO, Open Site Explorer, Ahrefs. There's probably some other ones, but you want to reverse engineer what's working because there's so much misinformation, and listening to Google is like probably the worst thing you can do. So this will save you so many years. Is just study top websites and always paying attention to what Google is doing, and do not learn from other SEOs who are mostly, for the most part, going to give you misinformation, my friend. Alexis, hey guys, looking to do a Facebook ads audit for a potential client, but wondered if anyone has a template they can share. Want to be able to give them points without saying thanks and implementing everything themselves. Thanks so much, Alexis. So the first thing you want to think about, Alexis, like I don't necessarily have a template, but think about when you're doing a Facebook ads audit for somebody or any kind of like account audit where you show them what they could be doing, is show them the things that'll make the biggest difference. So think 80-20, like what are the 2 or 3 things that you would do that would be the most valuable? And then what you want to do is show it to them at a 30,000 foot view, but without the details. So like, for example, one of the things I'll do with lawyers is I'll show them, hey, you have a message that says, I'm aggressive, I fight hard, Frankie Finn and Associates, call now. And then I show them like, hey, there's 100 other lawyers saying the same thing. And so I say, you need a better message to stand out. Like, you can't be sounding like everybody else. And they agree. And so there's value been exchanged and they want to hire me. But what I haven't done, I haven't told them how to create a better message. Right? So I've only given the 30,000 foot view of you need a better message. It's when you get into those nitty gritty details. If you want to give people advice without having them like kind of like just take it and run and do it themselves, give it to them at a high level that they can understand the strategy and the plan, but not so low level that they can just run away and do that. I tell the lawyer you need a better message, but I don't exactly tell them how to do it. So that's kind of how it would work in your space. That's the simplest way to do it. Just show them 2 or 3 things that'll make a big difference. Give them a high level overview of how you would improve that. Sunny, agency owners, How do you do conversion of your inbound leads? Do you call yourself or have a sales team or a VA or a call center? Sonny, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a show you how old I am. This used to be my process when I first started. Done an analysis on their website, and then I would call them, and then I would customer proposal, and then I would message them 15 times and say, have you seen my proposal yet? And eventually a few of them would sign up here and there. And sometimes we would even have a sales guy go to their place and actually meet them. And that was my old way of doing it. And how we do it now is actually amazingly simple. Is I post a 1 to 3 sentence offer in a very specific group of people I know that are my ideal buyers. Sometimes I send that little hand raiser by mail. Sometimes I do it on LinkedIn. Sometimes I do it by Facebook ads. It just depends who I'm trying to reach and what the best way is to reach them. And they'll say, hey, I'm interested. And then I say, I'd like to send you a 5-minute video with the details. Is that okay? And they say, sure. And then I send the 5-minute video, and they come out the other side and they say, all right, I'm in. And if they don't do that, I might send them a follow-up email or two just to give them a little bump to watch a video. But that's our whole process. Little hand raiser, watch the video, I'm in. And part of what makes that work so well is that we have offers that aren't like every other agency. And so as a result, it's easier for us to make those kind of sales. So I hope that makes sense for you. But Sonny, if you're thinking about needing a sales team and a VA and a call center, those are the things you do when you have a hard to sell offer. So I'd actually focus on making your offer easier to sell and easier to say yes to, and you can actually eliminate so many of those pain in the ass pieces. Nihal, need some suggestions. I'm planning to pivot to an altogether new niche. Do you guys think that running ads is a good idea to acquire clients while not having results and testimonials? Nihal, I'm going to give you a little big shortcut. So this has happened with a lot of people. I've spoken to a lot of people who, since March of 2020, have had to pivot, have had to get into new niches, and they have success and they have results, and they've done this before, but in this new niche, they're nobody. Nobody's heard of them. They can't provide proof of concept. So you're not unique in that regard. And the biggest thing is to get away from selling big decisions. So like if you think about SEO, it's like, hey, let's commit together for a year. I'm going to send you links every month and optimize your stuff. And it's going to cost you a lot of money and there's no guarantees it's going to work. That's like a big decision, right? Perfect example, I was cruising along a Facebook group the other day and somebody said, hey, can anybody here help me with the creatives for my Facebook ads? This was an agency and they didn't like doing the graphic design part of it, and they asked, is there anybody who can help with that? Somebody in the comments posted, hey, I can offer a video and a thumbnail for $50. And I watched as like a bunch of people were saying, hey, can you send me details? I want to buy that. I'm interested. Like, let's get a video done. Now here's the thing. It's a small decision, right? One little video, $50. What do you think's going to happen after somebody gets one video made and they like it? Hey, what would it cost me to get 50 made a month or 100, right? So that it very easily transitions. So the biggest thing is when you're starting in a new niche and you don't have a bunch of case studies, and you don't have a bunch of proof, you don't have a result, don't sell the 12-month big complicated marriage package. Sell the small little coffee date, let's try each other out. But make your coffee date strategic so that it leads right into your long-term thing. And you'll find that whole thing gets a lot easier. Grayson. Hey y'all, I'm 18 and looking to start a social media marketing agency. I've been researching how to officially get started, and some websites say I need certificate of incorporation, business license, operating agreement, tax ID number. This is kind of overwhelming, and I'm getting advice from people telling me to wait before I get all this stuff. People saying to just get a DBA. I'm not sure exactly where to start. I want to begin doing business ASAP, but I'm not sure exactly what I need to get licensed in before reaching out to potential clients. SSM or social media marketing agency seems to be a profitable business model, but I'm also hesitant to drop money to begin to get all licensed and all this stuff when I'm not even 100% sure how long I'm going to be doing this. Thanks in advance for all your help. Now, I would say, Grayson, what's up, Brother B? I am not a tax person. Take all of this with a grain of salt, but I am of the belief, personally, that people make getting started too complicated by adding in unnecessary pieces. So I'll see, like, on the marketing side, people say, well, I got to have my website and I got to SEO it and I got to do all these things before they get their first client. But actually, you just got to get in a conversation with a client, see if they got a problem you can solve and help them solve it, and that doesn't require a website. In fact, one of my good friends, Kat Howell, many of you guys will know, she built like a $300,000 a month agency and then built her website. So she was already at $300,000 a month before she even had her website. But that's the thing if you just directly speak to people. So I think in your case, this is just me. Again, I'm not a tax ID accountant kind of person, so take it all with a grain of salt. But I would get started and see if you know how to like and help people. You can work as a sole proprietor and pay taxes that way. I would start with that before you get into paperwork and all those things. Having said that, I think you should have those things and have a plan for them. But it sounds like in your case, you're brand new. You don't even know if you like it, and you don't even know if you can help people. So I would start with that, and then what you'll find is all of those things. Those are just, to me, unnecessary steps to just get your first person and help them. Hakeem, I'm not getting enough meetings and calls, and when I do, they mostly ghost me. What should I do differently? Hakeem, if you're not getting enough meetings and you're not getting enough phone calls, and I've been there and it sucks, by the way, you're sending out messages, you're working really hard, you're posting shit, and at the end of the day, you get very few meetings, and then when you do, they just don't show up, don't call, or they say, call me next week, or send me a proposal, and then you have to keep chasing and keep chasing, and it feels like you're just fucking spinning your wheels. I'll tell you, Hakeem, the biggest reason that happens is you have a very resistible offer. And the more you can put it in terms that they want it, the more they'll start to chase you. I have a mentor who described it this way. Imagine you walk up to a busy business owner and say, hey, I'd like to add one more plate to all the stuff you're carrying, and you're going to have to pay me for this plate. That immediately is like, blah, I don't want that. And that's how most people actually present their offers. And, he says, imagine instead you said, hey, I have a way to take 5 of those plate or 5 things off your plate right away and make your life easier, and we're going to do them, well, and you can prove that. They'll say to you, hey, do you take payment plans? How soon can I get started? Does MasterCard or Visa work? So more than likely you're falling in the trap, and this is the hardest part actually in many ways of getting started in an agency is more than likely your shit just sounds like everybody else. And as long as you sell to humans, I've heard that before, it's hard to sell. I was actually just talking to a guy right before this call, really awesome dude named Jeremy. And Jeremy's selling SEO, and he does a great job delivering it. But of course, everybody he's selling SEO to has been burned 100,000 times before. So his big challenge is getting out of that box of something they've been burned for 1,000 times. So more than likely, you're just showing up. Your stuff sounds like everybody else. So figure out how to make it unique and different, and the offer easy to say yes to. And what you'll find is, you'll stop getting ghosted, and you'll start getting meetings, and it'll happen with regularity. Barnsey, our man Barnsey, who's got a good book or quick ramp up about how to warm up cold email lists. So if you've never done this, this is a thing. Like you stay on top of your email list, you email them, you do a really good job, but then life happens. It's not converting the way you think. You forget to email the people. And at the end of the day, you end up, not messaging them for like 6 months. And then by then, these people forget who you are and all those kinds of things. So I'll tell you I don't necessarily have a book on it, but the 2 best ways I've found to warm up a cold email list, I should say there's 3 that I found. One is you write an email that says, I'm sorry. You say, hey, I haven't contacted you in a long time. I know this, but let me just tell you what I've been doing behind the scenes that's cool for you. There's one way you can do it. Another way is just to think about warming them back up. Think about the original reason they joined the list. So let's just say like you're selling weight loss. They're probably still interested in weight loss. So the simplest way to warm them back up is to just say thank you and give them some kind of free gift, a report, a video, a gift, or something like that. Something that adds value to their world. It's very rare that somebody reaches out and says, thank you, I want to give you something cool, that you're like, fuck you, I don't care, I haven't heard from you in 6 months. So that's another way. You send a couple of those, maybe like 3 to 5 thank you, free gift emails, and then you can go back to doing what you're doing. And then the other way is with, it's called the 9-word email. I think Dean Jackson wrote it, but it's a good way to warm up an old list where you just ask a question. You just say, hey, we haven't talked in a while. Are you still interested in blank? Are you still interested in getting more clients? Are you still interested in losing weight? Whatever that is. So those are the 3 best ways I found to warm up an old list. I'm sure there's more than that. Those are the 3 best ways that I've personally found. So anyways, use any of those that kind of just jive with you. Jonathan, what's your process from inbound lead to paying client? As I kind of mentioned earlier, Our old process was way more complicated before. Like way for real. Like I can't even tell you how complicated it was signing up SEO clients. I would generate a lead. This person would say I'm interested in SEO, and I would do an analysis, and I would send them a proposal, and I'd talk to them a bunch of times, and I'd chase them, and then they'd say call me next week, and all that, and it was just not fun. If you've been in there, you know how not fun it is. I don't need to tell you that if you've experientially experienced that already. Um, but our new process is way, way simpler. It's just send out a little hand raiser, they watch a video, and then they say, I'm in. And every now and then I have to send them an email or two to remind them, hey, you still haven't watched the video. But we're able to do that because we've really fine-tuned the offer making process, both who we make offers to and making those offers easy to say yes to. And then you just don't need all the complicated things. Like, for example, let's just say your average restaurant's selling a steak. Okay, steaks you can get a lot of places, and there's a lot of price competition. So, how much are you going to get for a steak? 20 bucks, 15, 20 bucks at a restaurant, ballparking. But what if that steak was made by Gordon Ramsay? And what if you could eat it with your celebrity crush? And what if you could have that steak on top of the Empire State Building? And what if they were throwing a banquet in your honor? How much would you pay for that steak? I bet you I can charge whatever I want for that steak. And I bet you I don't need a long custom proposal. I'm like, hey, I got Gordon Ramsay, your celebrity crush. We're on the Empire State Building. Everybody who's cool, who likes you is going to be there. Are you coming or not? Like, that's how I can sell that. So you, obviously that's an extreme example, but that's just showing you, like, when you package an offer better, when you're the guy selling the Gordon Ramsay steak on the Empire State Building, it's just way easier. Sales come to you, and the whole thing comes downhill. So that's why we're able to kind of do that differently than the way everybody else does it. Is we just stop making our offers so hard to sell. Most people are in the kind of middle zone where the offers require coercing and proposals and lots of follow up. And I always hated doing that follow up personally. So figured out how to just eliminate those steps. So hope that makes sense for you guys. And also, just a little quick note, that's the last question I got here, but for those of you who have been asking me about the mastermind, if you are interested in that, by the way, just let me know. There's no sales call. Like, we don't do any sales call. I just send you either a Google Doc or video, depending on what you're interested in. And if you want to in, all the details are there. If you don't, that's cool too, but nobody's going to ever bug you. So it's just a little piece of information you check out on your own. And if I've done my job correctly and you're the right person, then that offer should be easy enough to say yes to based on that. You may have a question or two. I'm not perfect. I'm human, but that's kind of how we roll. So if you're interested in that, you don't have to jump through like a 90-minute high-pressure sales call or anything like that. So hope that makes sense for you guys. That's all I got for you guys this way. I'm going to post the replay on YouTube. The YouTube's getting a little bigger each day, so I'm going from complete internet anonymity to a couple of you guys actually know who I am, but I love the depth we get to do with these things together. And so it's hot as balls in Mexico, so I'm going to let you guys go. I heard my little one just wake up, and we already went to the beach today.